Imagine a ship, perfectly intact, still sailing in the ocean. But there's just one problem. Everyone on board is gone. No signs of struggle, no bodies, no clear explanation. It's as if the entire crew simply vanished into thin air. This is the story of one of the most chilling maritime mysteries in history, the ghost ship of the Atlantic, the Mary Celeste. What really happened on that ship, and why has no one been able to explain it even after more than a century? Welcome to Curiosity Rift. On December 4th, 1872, sailors navigating the rough waters of the Atlantic Ocean spotted a chilling sight. A brigantine was drifting aimlessly through the swells, its sails torn and flapping wildly in the wind. The vessel tracking it was a Canadian ship called the Dei Gratia. Its captain, David Morehouse, signaled the drifting ship, but received no reply. As they pulled closer, he recognized the vessel. It was the Mary Celeste, commanded by a close friend and fellow veteran seaman. A boarding party rowed over to investigate. When they pulled themselves over the railing and stepped onto the wooden deck, they were met with dead silence. There was absolutely no one at the helm. The ship was completely seaworthy. The hull was sound, the masts were intact, and the cargo was safe. Yet the entire crew of 10 people had vanished without a single trace. The boarding party had found a functioning vessel, completely intact, but eerily devoid of life. To understand what happened, the boarding party ventured below deck. They expected to find evidence of starvation or disease, but instead, they found an untouched 6-month supply of food and fresh drinking water. The crew's personal belongings were entirely undisturbed. Rain gear hung on hooks, smoking pipes sat on tables, and the captain's wife's sewing machine rested exactly where she had left it. But alongside this eerie domestic stillness, there were alarming anomalies. One of the ship's hatches was open, a water pump had been disassembled, and there was about 3.5 feet of water sloshing in the hold. While that sounds terrifying to a layman, it is a manageable amount of water for a ship of this size. While the cabins remained full, the deck was missing its most vital equipment. The ship's only lifeboat was gone, along with the captain's chronometer and sextant, the exact navigational tools a sailor would prioritize for survival. On the mate's desk, they found the ship's daily logbook. The final entry was dated 9 days prior, placing the Mary Celeste near the Azores. That meant this unmanned ship had sailed blindly across the open ocean for nearly 400 miles. The captain of the Mary Celeste, Benjamin Briggs, was a level-headed, devout Christian and a highly respected maritime veteran. He had brought his wife and their 2-year-old daughter on this voyage. A captain with years of experience does not risk the lives of his family in a fragile rowboat in the open ocean. He only gives the order to abandon a sturdy, floating ship if he believes remaining on board means absolute, certain death. The immediate suspicion of piracy falls apart instantly. The ship's cargo and the crew's personal valuables were completely untouched. Pirates do not leave treasure behind. A violent mutiny is equally unlikely. There were no signs of a struggle, no blood, and the cargo was industrial, denatured alcohol, which is highly poisonous and entirely undrinkable. We can also rule out extreme weather or giant sea monsters. The hull had no structural damage, and a small, delicate vial of sewing machine oil was found standing perfectly upright in the cabin. The physical evidence points to the cargo itself. The ship was carrying 1,701 barrels of denatured alcohol. When the cargo was finally inspected in Europe, investigators found that 9 specific barrels, made of porous red oak, were completely empty. This animated diagram shows a cross-section of the ship's hold. Red oak is highly porous. During the voyage, volatile alcohol fumes leaked from those 9 barrels, building up gas pressure in the tightly confined space beneath the main deck, possibly agitated by a minor submarine earthquake. When the crew opened the hatch to investigate the hold, that sudden rush of combustible fumes would have terrified them. They were standing over an invisible powder keg, facing the immediate threat of a massive explosion. The buildup of these invisible, combustible fumes suggests a pressure cooker environment, one that may have forced even a veteran captain to make an impossible choice.
The Dei Gratia towed the vessel to Gibraltar, where a salvage court launched a massive investigation. The Attorney General desperately tried to prove foul play, but after months of searching, the court failed to find a single piece of hard evidence. That lack of official answers created a massive vacuum of truth. In the absence of facts, the public filled the void with wild speculation and conspiracy theories. A young Arthur Conan Doyle wrote a wildly popular short story based on the mystery. His fictional account permanently blurred the historical record with inventions like still warm cups of tea and half-eaten meals. When you strip away the myths, you are left with the grim reality of their final moments. 10 people, including a toddler, huddled together in a fragile wooden rowboat, tossing violently on massive Atlantic swells. They tied an emergency tow line, waiting for the fumes to clear, but heavy seas snapped the rope. The crew could only watch helplessly as the winds caught the sails, pulling the ship away from them. The ship they fled remained perfectly intact and entirely safe, while their desperate attempt to escape an invisible threat condemned them all to the silence of the sea.
The Mary Celeste remains one of history's most unsettling mysteries. A ship found drifting, cargo untouched, but not a single soul on board. Over the years, many theories have tried to explain it, from natural causes to something far more unknown. But the truth is, we still don't know what really happened, and maybe some mysteries are meant to stay unsolved. What do you think? Was it something logical or something we still can't understand? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoy uncovering mysteries like this, make sure to like and subscribe to Curiosity Rift, because the world is full of stories that don't want to be explained.